time's funnier than I can be. First of all, I want to thank everybody for being here and helping me validate my existence once again tonight. I actually haven't had time to stop and think about the fact that I finally finished these books and they came out, because I've had another deadline hanging over my head. And it wasn't until I met that deadline right on September 1st that I realized that all the work that I had been doing paid off. So if you don't mind, I want to talk about it a little bit before we dive into the reading. Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Okay, and the reason I thought I'd talk about it, first of all, who's got a watch? If anybody's heard me speak before, you know that I always cry at one point. I just wanted time to see how long it takes me. I once gave a, thank you, Marcus. I once gave a speech at the library about how much I loved the library and broke down sobbing. So I will do that tonight. We'll see how long I can hold out. But I wanted to talk about it in case there were people in the audience that had something that they really loved and had either gotten far away from it because they didn't have the time, or it had stopped being fun for whatever reasons, because that's what happened to me. I was writing a book every year. I was writing for a publisher that it's like marrying somebody and then them trying to change you every day, waking up every day and saying, oh honey, if only you lost a little weight, if only you, because they would buy my books and then try to get me to change her. And it kind of had taken all the fun out of it. And on top of that, I had a lot of family responsibilities and a full-time job and other stuff. And one day I woke up and I just said to myself, this isn't any fun anymore, and this is writing. This is what makes me feel whole when I sit down, and when I'm able to do it, the world is all right again. And they've taken all the fun of it, and I don't know what to do. So I did something really smart. I walked away. I walked away from it for a while. And I had no idea what I was getting into when I did that. Because a writer is writing from their heart and about themselves. And in the time I walked away, and when I came back, I changed a lot. And I didn't know it. And I probably could have gone for the rest of my life and never realized that, except for I'm a writer. And I had to come to grips with that before I could begin writing again. So I sat down and I started to write a few times, and all this happened. I haven't stood up here for I think in 7 years, but these books have been in the works for about 3 or 4 years, so it's been a while. And during that time, I was trying to figure out who I had become, what my voice was, because I believe very strongly in the power of voices, books, and what I wanted to say. And it was like writing and going to a shrink every day at the same time, only I wasn't shelling out $55 an hour. And it was an incredible experience. It was an amazing experience. And I have to tell you, I went through about 2 or 3, maybe 4 partial books before I ended up with the ones you see before me. And then I had the great good fortune to run into an agent that I really liked and started working with. So a couple things happened. One was that I found that I had really missed Casey. When I got back to writing her, I loved it. I had just missed her so much. And I thought that was a really good sign. Because it wasn't that I had gotten tired of her. I just had kind of gotten tired of my publisher not getting her. And I wanted her to be herself. And I just loved meeting her again. And that time away allowed me, I think, to come at her in a little bit of a different way too. And when you're writing very quickly, it's easy, when you have a standing cast of characters and you're writing a series, it's easy to fall into sort of cliches with your characters, and the shading can get lost. So that allowed me kind of to go back and really think about Bobby D and some of the supporting characters and who they could be, and they became even more alive. And I just loved getting back to Casey. I felt like I got a little piece of myself back. But then a weird thing happened. I found that I had living inside me a 40-something alcoholic failed detective too. male I might add. And I don't think, how many people in this room have read both books? The Chaz and the Batman? Okay, I don't think they're entirely disconnected. I think that if you read Casey, you'll see some themes and an outlook that ties in a little bit, but the voices are really very different. And I finally had to sort of like My whole life I've kind of struggled with being very extroverted, but also liking to be alone, and I mean alone. And trying to balance my life like that, I found out that I had two different kind of writer personalities in me too. So I thought, oh, what the hell, I'll do them both, because I've never been one to say, no, I'm sorry, I'm busy, I can't take that on. So what came out of that was Desolate Angel. Now, here was the trouble. I knew then what my voices were going to be and what I wanted to write, but a writer is always alone, especially before they publish. Well, it was even worse for me because I had already published, and I had been a little bit spoiled when I first started writing, and it took about a year to sell a book, which isn't bad, really. But this time, you know, I'd already been new. I was already the next great thing. It didn't pan out, but that happens to everybody. And you can only really be new once in the publishing world. So it was even harder to have the faith and the hope to keep going for 3 or 4 years of silence from everybody and think somebody's going to buy this when I'm done. But that forced me to make a really great choice and a realization, which was, you know, I'm going to spend half an hour talking to you guys today. I'm going to spend 10 seconds cashing any check I may or may not get from this. And very little time with readers. What I really get out of writing is sitting down and writing, and the hours I get to lose myself in these worlds that I create every day. And having to operate on hope and oxygen for 2-3 years writing these books really drove home that that was what I was getting out of it, and I loved it. I just loved every minute of coming back. So I decided as I got older I would never discount moments in my life that are very, very important, and I think that being able to be back up here is one of them. 15 minutes. It took 15 minutes for me to cry.
We started late.
Okay, 10 minutes for me to cry. But that's with hormones and being 52 now, so that's pretty good.